about the launch of this game Phantasmal. And a postmortem, basically. So, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, Tim. My first question to you is, I know this is the last presentation of the day, so who gets really tired right now? Put your hand up. Okay, good. I'm going to do you a favour. Stand up, everyone. Just stand up. Shake yourself off. The person next to you.
Hi, how's it going? Hello.
Just in time. Just in time. So I'm here today to talk about Phantasmal, which is actually a one. Oh, is it? Can you guys hear me? That's all right. I'll do it like this. I'm loud. I'm noisy. That's fine. So I'm here to talk about Phantasmal today, which is a survival horror roguelike. Basically, as a bit of a background, we were the first team to go into the Kiwi Game Starter when it started, which was in 2014. We've gone through a lot of the standard things, if you like. We went through Kickstarter, we went through Steam Greenlight, early access, full release. We made a crap load of mistakes, we screwed up heaps, and sometimes we did some things right. Not often, but sometimes we did some things right. And I just thought that maybe some of my learnings and some of my screw-ups might help you guys. So that's my hope. And to kick things off, I thought I would actually run the trailer in case some of you guys haven't seen it yet. So I'll run that, it might give you a bit more of an idea of the game itself. So this is the launch trailer. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea of what the game is. It's a horror game, it's a roguelike, so randomly generated levels every time you play. So what did we learn? We were in way over our heads. Basically we had no idea what we were doing at all. When we first started, we thought, oh yeah, we can do this, this is going to be real easy. But we very quickly found out that that was not the case, not by a long shot. And have things changed? I guess would be the next logical question. Probably not. No, we'll wait a little bit more, but always learning. We could never really do enough marketing. So I think as devs, generally speaking, we were always wanting to just do the cool stuff, like actually just push the technical boundaries. And I think in terms of marketing, we could have always done more. Proper planning and organisation really went a long way. So we did some things really well, other things horribly. Talk about that in a little bit more detail in a moment as well. So this is how we did. It's a bit annoying with Valve because we have signed an NDA with them, and they don't really like it when we state numbers. But I can tell you that we earned more than zero. Which is $1. Just joking. We earned, I guess, dozens of thousands. I guess 5 figures. And for me, that was really great because I actually literally expected zero, because that was our very first Steam game. I'd done a bunch of mobile games prior to that with Windows 8. And so this was our first, I guess, large-scale game. So I felt we did really well. One thing I guess I can show you in there is that we've been wishlisted 22,000 times, and we've had a 5% conversion rate. I'll kind of go into that a little bit later on, in terms of details where I can. So I want to do something a little bit different today because I get really bored of delivering linear talks, and watching everyone kind of slowly zombify along the way. So we're going to gamify this process a little bit. So for the next few slides, this is part of the reason behind this is because as I was writing all these out, just spraying out slides on the last couple of days, I went up to about 45 and I was like, okay, I've got to do one, like every less than a minute for each one. So there's no way I can get through them all. So I'm going to try and have a little bit of fun. It's going to be a bit experimental. But what I want you guys to do to make this interactive is to vote for a topic. So I'll give you 2 and you guys can put your hands up. If I can't tell, I'm going to throw one of these things at you. And whoever gets it gets the vote. This is a tie. This is the tiebreaker. So I might need your help in terms of, because I might get lost. When I come back, if we have enough time, so it'll be like an agile presentation.
Use the buzzword.
It's a buzzword,
yeah.
Exactly. Which usually means there's no documentation. So probably pretty simple here. So we're going to try this. So you're going to have to help me out. But if we finish everything in time, I'll come back to the ones I can cover. So for the first topic, we have either marketing research around A/B testing or planning and execution. Please put your hand up if you vote for marketing research, A/B testing. Okay, voting more time. Okay, please forgive me if I smash you in the face. What would you like? A or B?
A, please.
A, B. Yes, that's the top one. You can hold on to it, then you throw it. We can throw it back if you want. You're going to throw it. Go on, take a big shot.
Straight to the screen.
Try. Okay, so I'm going to talk about A/B testing, so a very specific part of the marketing research. Who knows what A/B testing is? Just stick your hand up if you do. Oh, gee, okay, so I don't need to talk about this next bit at all. Just joking. So as you know, for those of you who don't know, it's basically simultaneous ads. You're running simultaneous ads all at the same time, and then seeing which ones get the most engagements. And this was not something I picked up myself. In fact, it was something that Morgan Jaffa from Define Dev recommended that I do. And he actually told me, I think, about a year prior to our full release. I was like, yeah, that sounds great, and I didn't do anything about it. And in 3 months prior to the full release, he came back to actually do a talk. So, you done your A/B testing? So I finally did it, and I was just thinking to myself, why the F did I not do this from the start? Because this is such wonderful intelligence that you can get. So for those of you who aren't familiar with A/B testing, I'll give you an example, so this will kind of explain it. And so where we did the A/B testing was around the capsule images that went into the Steam store, and for the trailers as well. So how do we do this specifically? How does this all work? So you can see here there's a bunch of capsules. So we wanted to know which ones people would like the most in general. And how we did this to begin was kind of dumb. Like we just had a team vote. We had about 6 people up there. So, oh, do you like that one, or that one? Okay, 5 people like that one, so we'll go with that. And so that was very biased and very skewed and very inaccurate. So what we did was we put all 4 capsules into separate ads within Facebook and Twitter as well. And then looking at all of the analytics from that, we could clearly see if one particular capsule would get more views and more engagement. So we did that many times. So that was the first one. We did a whole bunch. And I actually really liked this one, right? And the whole team really liked this one. But what we found was the general public really liked that one. It was really weird. So completely contrary to what the team thought. And that was a real wake-up call. It wasn't even close. It was like significantly different. So we said, okay, they like that one. Let's do more stuff like that. So they like the tentacles, they like the face in the front. Let's go with that. Okay, so we've got the guy in the front, obviously like that. Let's do some of his mates in the back. Let's do some do a real cold version. Yeah, I like that one. Or I think I said I like that one. And the team did too. And then we did another round. Actually, there were some other rounds that we did in between, but just for the purpose of listening. Some of them did another one, and everyone liked that one. And we're like, what? They like blue? I thought they liked orange or purple or something. And that was a real wake-up call. So really useful for us to do that. And at the end of it, I think this is the latest slide. I'll show you our conversion rates. So it actually did confirm the research that we actually put up. So in terms of the video itself, so how we did it was the ad itself had those capsule images you just saw. but then each out of those 4 that we put up, if you clicked on it, it will go to a particular video. They went to 4 different videos. So the very first round we did had 4 variations. So one was a combat one where the guy was running around like shotgunning monsters in the face and like stabbing them and stuff like that. We had one with just a creepy walk, like a walk through a creepy environment. We had one with lots of jump scares. The guy walks something would pop up. And then the final one was a build-up, so a creepy walk, but it's just slowly getting more and more intense. What we found from that, the first round, is people hated the combat where things were being shot. People just stopped watching it after 5 or 10 seconds. And we found that the creepy walk was the one that people liked most. And so from that, in the second round, we then took that and we expanded upon it. We had one with lots of narration, the guy was talking through, like it was a story, one with no narration, one with lots of pop-up text, so stuff like this. So we had some Adobe After Effects, which showed every now and again this stuff would come up, like Kowloon City and a world with no zombies or something like that. And what we found was really interesting as well. People just really liked the one with no narration at all. So the one you saw before was the one that people liked the most, where there was very little, no talking, just some grunting and whimpering and fear and stuff like that. So that to me, I guess, said they liked the atmosphere and the moodiness. And that was also a little bit unexpected. I thought the little bit of narration people would have liked. But
all the other things break the immersion.
Yeah. I think that must have been it. So every time this popped up, because we had this a lot, and that particular variant, I think people were like, oh, okay, now I'm being interrupted. So it was probably annoying to people. So that was really good just to get that kind of validation. And when you do it personally, it's like, I think this would be great, and everyone else like it. It's not necessarily true. And that's something I learned. It was a big takeaway for me. So this is some of the analytics behind Facebook specifically. And so looks, you probably can't read it because I can't read it here either. But what this really shows you is the 4 variants. So on each row there is a variant of a particular type of that video. And then here it shows you the engagement. So how many people watch a quarter, half, 3/4, 95%, 100%. And it was the one, it was the no narration one that was the most popular by quite a significant margin. And we ran that test a couple of times as well. And we also tested this on Twitter as well, through the ads there, through their A/B testing, and very, very similar results as well. So in terms of the full release, what we saw was that in Steam, their kind of their baseline in terms of their averages usually get 0.34% conversion through to click through to actually get to your store page. And we're almost about 5 times that, so we had 1.47%. And to me, that just says that the capsules and the trailers and stuff like that, more the capsules themselves resonated more with people, so it made them want to click through more because it's more attractive to people. So that made a lot more sense than having the other red image that I thought was really cool. But this one is a lot better, the bluish one you see there. Oops. So, okay, this is where it gets weird. So skipping ahead to next topic. Who wants to hear about community management and who wants to hear about marketing analytics? Put your hand up for community management. I think that's community management. I'll just say that. Yeah, I'll just say that's the one I'm going to talk about anyway. So community management, it's a whole bunch of stuff. This is a huge learning curve to me. I mean, prior to doing this, we've done some mobile games. We've seen some angry reviews, and that was about the extent of my experience with it. So I did all of this stuff myself, because like most stuff. So I was the team leader on the project. So of course, like with most projects, everyone wants to do dev, they want to do art, they want to do game design, and then everything else like no one wants to do. So I just basically get all the shit jobs. Shit jobs. I grew to love this actually. It was actually really cool. But this involves stuff like responding to reviews on Steam, responding to forum posts about bugs, general comments, keeping the forums active, keeping updates on development, being generally friendly and a nice person really helped with that. So I felt that we still got heaps to learn, but I felt that we actually did it right as first timers for that. And the kind of things that we learned were, you're always going to get bad reviews, no matter what. There's even going to be a lot of forum trolling and things. But the key thing for us was to really try and stay professional and positive. I remember after the early access release, like within an hour, I got like a negative review, like a really comprehensive one that just said the game was garbage, blah, blah. And I took that really personally, I got really mad, despite saying, I'm not going to get mad. And I got really pissed off. I think I logged into a friend's account and then wrote like a review, because super cowardly. And I was going to do one as the dev, and then my marketing mentor at the time said, don't do that, don't get salty, just be professional. So I kind of grit my teeth and I typed out, I'm sorry you hate our game. What can we do to make it better? And so that's kind of been the general principle from that point onwards, is to always have good customer service. This is general for other stuff, not just necessarily games. To always be professional, to always be positive, and that made a huge difference. So even some of these reviews, which literally said, your game sucks, please go commit suicide, which is, a little bit hurtful. But we found that when we responded and said, hey, we're sorry you hate our game, what can we do to make it better, or whatnot, people would often look at it and go, oh, it's not just some faceless entity, it's not EA, it's actually a person. And they'll be like, oh, okay, thank you for replying back to me. And it's, in some cases, not all, in some cases they actually flip their review, not many, but if nothing else, they would reply and go, thanks for replying. But the nice thing about that, even if they don't flip their review, is that other people come along and read it, because sometimes like you see some particularly humorous review, you click on it to look at all the comments, and oftentimes it's just this massive flame war, right? But when you actually go in and you see the developer kind of respond maturely, it's actually really good. And in our case, that seemed to work really well. So we saw a lot of positive benefits to actually responding in a friendly, positive way. And of course, you can't let people steamroll over you and just keep saying, oh, I'm sorry you hate us and you want us to die. At some point, if it's obvious that someone on the forum is trolling you or being racist or being a dick or something like that, you're going to have to pull out a pandemic. And that's something we didn't, I don't think I've actually ever banned anyone. I think even with the worst guy, I just ignored him and he just went away. So that worked pretty well. And I think it's really important to allow people to voice negativity constructively, to say they hate your game or whatever. I don't think you should, I think if it starts a discussion and allows you to answer it, I don't think it's necessary to stifle it, so that worked really well for us. So I spoke about negative reviews and using the tone. Okay, so I talked about all this. And I think the other key thing was just it allowed us to kind of keep the momentum, so that was really cool, like being friendly and people voicing their interests and all that kind of stuff. It gave us an opportunity to really keep that momentum going, so that was really great. Oh, this was really awesome. So in the forum, this came totally out of the blue. At one point, we had one of our players write this really nice message to us. It could have been my mum, but I'm not sure.
You're great.
So I'm pretty sure the devs are going to see this because they seem to be all over the forum, but I just wanted to thank Ash, that's my tag on Steam, and the others that have worked on the game for having the best communication with the games testers I've seen in a long time. And so he goes on to say how he's very grateful that we were positive and we didn't flame or get real salty because someone didn't like our game. And so that was just really nice. It was just an affirmation that we were on the right track, that we were handling things professionally. So that was really nice. I didn't expect that at all, and so I was very moved by that. And the other thing that really worked really well was, so we got lots of pictures taken all the time, lots of videos and stuff. But the other thing that worked really well for us was that we acknowledged that all the time. We said, hey, thank you for those awesome pictures, awesome videos, so I would put a personalised message. I think that's something that you can't really do easily when you're in a larger company, and that's one of our, our unique selling points as an indie with a smaller user base, is that we can have the more personalised interactions. And so we did some stuff that worked really well was there was like a side room there in the first area of the game where we put logos and thank yous to our fans and some of the partners. So Leaping Tiger, really awesome. Is any other Leaping Tiger guys here? Theo, no? Anyway, so we put their logo up, and then for some of our fans who have been really active, they've been really positive, We had their names also in the game as well, and some of the fans really loved it. So it was such a small thing for us to do, to just put their name up there and some text, but to them it was this big, massive thing. They've been immortalised! So it was wonderful. As we did that through news updates as well, so in the news updates and the official news, when we did that, we always said, hey, thank you to blah, blah, blah for doing this, and thank you for that, and that really seemed to really jazz people. So that was a wonderful feel. Like, it made me feel really good to make someone else feel good too. So that was really awesome. Right, skip, 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 skippity, skip, skippity, skip. Okay, I'm not too lazy to do the topic voting. So other stuff that kind of went quite well were events. So we did Armageddon New Zealand, which is great. Went to Xbox Pre-PAX event in Seattle, GamCon in Mexico, and PAX Australia. That was really, really great. So one of the benefits of that for us was it allowed us to do a bit of market validation. So people are usually generally honest in these kinds of things. If they hate your game, and I've had this personally experiences, when I had a mobile game out at Digital Nations, I don't know if you guys know what that is, about 2 years ago, had someone come over and play the game, and halfway through, so, and then walked away. I was like, just standing there, like, well. So people would just walk away, they don't care. But with Phantasmal, especially since we had the Oculus and everything, we had people lining up, and it was really great to see people really enjoy the game. And in some cases, some people just loved it so much and just spent 10 minutes talking to us at the end of it about the game and asking questions and things. It was also really great networking as well. So out of PAX Australia for, I think, 2014, we came out of it, so we met this guy called Chris Charlo, who was the director of the Xbox ID, Independent Developer Program, and so we ended up on that. We talked to guys from Oculus, from Sony, just so many opportunities over there. So I want to really quickly run this video. I won't do it for too long, but it just shows you the kind of the quantities of people that go through, and there's Phantasmal. Somewhere. Let me show you. Oh no, that's cool. That's not Phantasmal. We had a really ugly stand as well. Like, we had this shitty poster. See that white background? Like, it's so embarrassing. Look at everyone else. It's so good. That's the line of people. You've never been to PAX. That's these tons of people lining up all the time. It's like a half an hour away. Absolutely. So yeah, free ad for PAX Australia. So if you're problem, then please pay me up. Other stuff that went quite well was we got pretty good press. So we got articles on IGN, GameSpot, Rock Paper Shotgun Destructor, and a few others as well. We got PewDiePie to play our game, so I think it's the biggest one to play. We've got a guy called H2O Delirious and lots of other kind of mid-tier to high-tier YouTubers and streamers as well. So what went well from that was that we just contacted like everyone. It was like a door knocking exercise. So between me and Nick, the marketing guy before, we just went through about 3,000 contacts. So some of it was MailChimp, some was personalized, like it was personalized to PewDiePie. For some, I don't know how, but he picked it up and actually replied. So he follows me on Twitter now, which is really awesome. Although I'll message him and just goes nowhere, which is to be expected. But that went pretty well. I'll show you a little bit of a clip from this as well, really quickly. So I did it like a thank you to the YouTubers as well. I just thought that was really awesome. And I won't do all of that. Like there's PewDiePie.
Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, Sam, Tommy Victor! Oh, you did it now! Oh, what the fuck? Arrêtez! Ah, merde! Je tire la porte!
That's the French guy that squeezes 2 million subs.
He looks terrified. Go away, rats! Sleep, bro. Oh god, I woke up. Je suis pas tellement en tête.
You get the idea. But that was the other thing too, is we made sure that we really showed our appreciation to the YouTubers. It was really difficult kind of maintaining that relationship with these guys, and I tried to get on Twitter and like their stuff and things like that. But some of them did, say, hey, thanks for recognizing us and things like that. So that was really good. That really helped us. And although the vast majority of YouTubers and press kind of forgot all about us, There were a couple that we still to this day retain really good friendships with, so that was really awesome. Right, okay, so to the bad news. What would you like to hear about? Bad design choices or poor testing? Put your hand up for A. A sounds like A. Bad design choices. Man. My skeletons. So I don't know where to start with this. It's just like everything's pretty good. So Phantasmal itself was the result of 7-day FPS game jam. Have you guys heard of that before?
Yeah.
You guys know? No, I don't know. Is it still on or does it still happen?
Yep.
Not anymore.
Yes,
Really?
it does, yes.
Oh, damn, okay, you've got to show me the link. I want to do it again. So the game sort of started from there. Oh, that's pretty cool. I want to expand it out. And so it was pretty haphazard. It was like I kind of had a rough idea of what the game was going to be like. But then it just sort of grew like chaotically. I knew I wanted to be like Silent Hill and The Binding of Isaac. That was kind of my design document that lined me. So we never really documented what the end product would be. I mean, we kind of did stuff in response to things at the end. But we couldn't really decide on the fundamental features, like what the game exactly would be. Like it started off as an action shooter where you'd blow away all the creatures and things, and it became a full stealth game, and it became something in between, it became neither. So it was just really horrible design choices. I could have used your help, Mike. I wish I knew you back then. I guess what we should have done is been pretty clear about the core of the game from the start, like what it was. I think part of what didn't really help was the team really went through a massive flux, so I'm the only constant, so we had 5 people at the beginning, they all got bored or something and just drifted off into nowhere, and got a whole bunch of new people, so it was pretty weird. Like with the A/B testing, we kind of guessed a lot of stuff and said, yeah, we reckon this will be cool. We never really validated it, so I think the validation would have been important to get it in front of the meetups, at minicades and stuff like that, to actually see what actually mattered to people. We should have been way more strict with documentation. So I say there's with general IT projects, if you don't have clear requirements, you don't know what you're making later on. And this is kind of ironic because I've worked in IT as a software tester for 13 years. And I'm always the grumpy old tester who just hassled the shit out of developers and saying, where's your documentation? Where's your unit test? And here I was doing exactly the same thing. Total hypocrite. And so by early access, the consequence was we don't know what we're making. We were kind of questioning ourselves, like, are there enough features in it? Or maybe we should have procedural storytelling. It's just by the time we got to early access, it's just a total mess. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about it yet. Okay, topic 2. You want to hear about losing momentum with the community or general technical issues? Put your hand up for lost momentum. We're just having the first one all the time. Cool, we'll go with A. I'm happy with that. So this is really interesting because I draw parallels again back to corporate IT and software development, which is where my history is. Normally with if anyone else here has worked on, I guess, a contract or IT, normally you have that length of time on the project, and at the end of that you're like, see you later, suckers! And so it's like, that's it, you're done, you're gone, unless you drag back on support, which has happened to me a couple of times. But by and large, you just like, yeah, screw you, I'm gone. But what we found, or what I found, was that I put so much energy into the full release that I got burned out, the rest of the team kind of got burned out, and we just couldn't, apart from the first patch, which was like an emergency patch because we broke stuff, we just couldn't get back into it. Like even to now, like I've been pretty useless. But we should have had a rollout strategy. We should have planned for at least every month for say 3 months. This is what we're going to put in. Like the full release for us shouldn't have been the end of the story. So mentally, I'd already said, yeah, I'm done. Screw you guys. But that was a waste because we could have made extra revenue out of it if we just stuck to it a little bit more. We could have done stuff like throw in some more items and weapons and things, or more room types, more creature variants. There's just so many things we could have done. And I guess the stink thing is if we'd actually done that properly, we could have actually brought our fans to our new game as well. So there will still be some there lurking around, but this could have been handled far more effectively than the way we've done it now. So other stuff that didn't go very well. We had a pretty inconsistent part-time team, I mentioned, so and they're all not, I guess, not totally invested in it as well. Especially the first team. The second one, you know, the core team is pretty good, but people seem to drift in and out as well. Expectations with revenue. So even though we had a contract and started exactly how the revenue share would work, when we got to the end, so how just as a rough idea, what we did was we took a timesheet and said, okay, we did this many hours or whatever, just like a regular timesheet. We said by the end of it, basically what will happen is we'll divide up the revenue according to the proportion of time that we each spent on it. That was pretty clear, right? But by the end, I had some pretty weird questions come back, like so just general grumbling as well and discontent. But one guy who came back and said, well, I did 140 hours. How come I don't get 140 hours times $50? And I said to him, well, that's actually more than we earned after expenses. It was just weird and really awkward as well. The procedural generation, which was something that I was so excited about, that we're going to implement this, actually became the bane of my life. It became hell for me, especially with testing and I guess just game design in general, just became really tough. That was the other thing too, is it's on the other slide, but we had a tester, we had a dedicated tester during the midway through the project, and then he left for whatever reason. And so, you know, being a corporate tester in the past, I was like, yeah, I'll just do it. You know, I'll just do it amongst the other millions of things I have to do as well. I can do it. But as I said before, I kind of violated my own principles, which is a developer shouldn't really test his own code, unless it's like unit testing or something, but the end-to-end stuff should definitely be someone else. And so what I found was that I couldn't really be objective about what I was doing. And so stuff just slipped through the cracks. So quality was awful as well. That was a mistake. I think we stayed in early access for too long, and I'll just wrap up the Kickstarter. I think we did that a little bit too early as well, really. I think, and I had a chat to Rob Curry from Blind Health last time around. He kind of echoed the same sentiment that early access should really be beta testing. That stage, but we use this for like pre-alpha. So we were there for way too long. And you guys have probably seen this before, right? Early access, hell forever. And so I think to do this again, we would do this for beta testing or around that stage. Okay, so how much time have we got? We've got about 7 minutes. I'm going to go back. Okay, this is going to be weird now. You want to hear about good stuff or bad stuff?
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff? No. What's that?
Bad stuff.
You want to be? Oh, okay, true. It's like one of those, like watching a train wreck, right? That's a fair analogy. I'm not gonna do poor testing. Okay. So I kind of talked about this just now, but so it's pretty ironic because I am a corporate software tester, and I kind of against everything else. You know, we lost our tester. So the part of that was that I drawn up a test plan, a pretty comprehensive one. It was an exploratory one, but it was fairly covered most things. But yeah, like I said, lost the. I couldn't be objective and just quickly lost context. Just lost bugs slipped through, and one of the worst things was that we had a fan who was like seemed really smart, really like he knew all the stuff. And he said, "Oh yeah, I want to work with you guys." I'm like, "Cool, okay." I thought that would kind of, foolishly, fill a little bit of the gap. And so we got him involved, but he had no experience working in any teams before, and he just spammed me with emails going, "Oh, why isn't this fixed? Why isn't that fixed?" And I said, "Well, hang on, very polite, still once again very polite, very professional, said, we can't get to you straight away. That should be the expectation." What happened there was actually backfired completely. Because then he sent me a very angry email saying, "Well, you guys have very poor project management," which I don't disagree with. You suck, blah, 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 really massive email. And then what happened, which was worse, is they started trolling me on the forums. I wrote this really shit review, and I was like, "Oh, I think these guys have terrible internal management." And so he was the guy that I just ignored. Like I don't want to delete his stuff because if you try and suppress it, it's like a child, and you're just saying no, and the more you say no, the more they'll jump up on the chair and start spewing everywhere and stuff. So that's just my might be medical actually. I should ignore it. So that really backfired horribly. It's to do with testing, but it was just about expectations. I think in that respect, I think I'll be very, very hesitant to ever engage a fan again, unless I know them personally or something. So that was really bad. So this is just an example of some of the test cases that we had. So pretty standard list of steps, the functionality on the left, and so we will run this every test cycle, which is every month. Okay, have we got time for anything? Okay, I think I'll summarise it and let you guys ask some questions. That might be better.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah. So, but in summary, so what we learned for next time, basically, there's 3 points here, but it's basically everything. But better planning, having shorter time frames, I think was really important. Better QA process, and that's painful, obviously, because I am a tester, and that was, yeah, I did bad testing. That's very horrible. And apart from that, keep in touch. If you have any questions, that's my email. I've got my Twitter and some social media there as well. And we're also doing our next game, so hopefully by doing this presentation, I'm going to try not to be a hypocrite by making the same mistakes again for our next game. So I'm not here saying the same thing next year with a different game. So we're doing a new game now as well, but being the silly person that I am, we're not doing procedural generation anymore, but we're doing multiplayer. Thanks. So swapping something really difficult for something even more difficult. But it's a game called the Outpost game, so it's a sci-fi themed one. It's like kind of Five Nights at Freddy's. You can click on different areas, which will switch to the security camera, and you have someone actually in the game, like an alien isolation, one of their objectives. So hopefully next year I'll be able to tell you more good things that we did, and we'll have made less mistakes. So that's it, and I guess we'll go on to the QA thing until Q&A until we run out of time. So does anyone have any questions? You, sir.
Hey.
What's your name, sir?
Hi.
No.
Actually, so you skipped on the positive stuff, which maybe was the only one who wanted to.
Oh, you guys are cynical. Disgusted with yourselves. And he's nodding.
So, you know, the marketing stuff was really interesting, but I want to maybe hear about a game design choice that was really positively received. Is there anything that you can share about that?
Okay.
So I played the game.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I just want to share, like, so the marketing was skewed towards more the atmospheric type of thing.
Yeah.
And as a gamer, I appreciated the game for that as well.
Right.
And to me, I really appreciated the effects that you had.
Okay.
When you got more insane,
Yeah.
yes, the sanity effects, and like the breathing of the players and stuff like that. So I was actually genuinely frightened.
Okay.
And I would say that's like a really positive design choice that you guys did. Is there anything that you can share, like the testers really
Yeah.
liked it?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, thank you. That's awesome. And I didn't pay him just today.
Sure.
You paid me to pay.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. That's a really good point, because despite all the flaws, and Destructoid destroyed us in their reviews, but they did recognise the same thing. They said, you know, they liked the atmosphere and the mood that we created, and I think for me, personally, that felt great, because that was what we were trying to convey, is that feeling of desolation and emptiness and just total overwhelm, and I feel that went through, even though technically the game kind of sucked a little bit, I'll admit. But the mood and everything, yeah, was positively received. And some people really got it. And so, although a lot of people, you know, used to playing COD and all that kind of stuff, kind of hated the game, but there were some people who really loved it. They really got the atmosphere and what we were trying to convey, and it worked really well. Okay.
One more question.
Shrek.
Joe. I'm curious about a point that you touched on about like the team and the sort of like the changes in the team,
Yeah.
things like that. I'm interested in your takeaways from that. Like, what are the sort of principles of building a stable team for a small indie project?
I'm probably the worst person to look at. I think to me, I mean, having been on a lot of corporate teams as well and led quite a few as well, it's a little bit different with the whole indie thing. I think you've got to really love games. I think if you're in it for the money or some material gain, I think that's when expectations aren't going to be met. I think you're going to really have to love games specifically. And I found that with the first team, most of them were younger, like 20 something, they just flanked out really quick. This doesn't, I'm not dissing young people. Yeah.
Short edges, man, possibly.
But I found that, and this doesn't hold true, of course, even if you're more mature. But I guess people who've kind of been through stuff, like I've been through the most horrible projects in IT, some really shitty programs at work, and the guys I ended up with were the ones that stuck with me to the end. Well, the dev lead was a guy I worked with at Microsoft about 7 years ago, and so he had been through horrible stuff as well. So to me, I think the willpower is a big part of it. I think the willpower and having that dream is really important, and just being realistic about it. But then, aside from that, just having that transparency and being always open in communication, being honest about stuff. If you can't do something or you don't have the time to do something, just to be clear and honest about it. I think that really helped us out a lot. But in saying that, I was pretty ruthless. So people were clearly taking the piss and just not doing it. I would just go, no, I'm sorry, this isn't for you. You probably should do something else.
Sorry to interrupt, but the keynote's about to start.
Oh, okay, sure.
So,